Can you hear us yet, Chris? Can you hear us?
Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hey, sorry about that.
Oh, it's fine.
Our special guest star. Are we on with everyone?
We're about to be on. We let everybody know we're just a little behind.
Sorry about that.
No, it was us too, because the thing just decided to freak out at the right moment. We are live.
I'm sorry. Which one's Mike and which one's Matt?
Mike's the one outdoors.
Okay,
Mike.
nice.
This is my private arena.
Outside.
This is my private marina.
Mike, where are you?
Where am I?
Yeah.
I'm on Vancouver Island, up in Canada.
Okay. Nice.
It is live
Hold on
now.
a second. Let me check with our friend to make sure that he's.
How's the weather in Los Angeles?
It's been rough, drifts between 74 and 75.
I'll admit that.
Matt, where are you?
Matt? I'm here. Can you see me? Oh, I'm indoors with the classroom.
Oh, hi.
Yeah. You might recognize this guy.
How's it going?
Somewhat, yeah.
I was on Modern Family.
Because my last name is Pritchett, so it's a win.
Guys, are we going to talk about Tiger King or what?
Joel, this is Mike and Matt. Mike has a marina behind him as his Zoom background photo.
Yeah. I can hear seagulls.
Yeah, there's seagulls.
Yeah, he's very close to you.
This is great. I love it.
Hey, Joel, when are we having our haircut party?
Ooh. I'm going to go to that mall in rural Nebraska that they're just about to reopen.
One that's just about to open.
Yeah, it's near that factory where 600 people got it. So I think we'll go there. Your hair's relatively short.
Look at that microphone. That's professional grade.
That's for the Darkest Timeline podcast with Ken Chung.
Okay.
This is 150. It's an amazing mic. It's $150, and it's like way better than anything I've ever used. And I use a lot of mics, guys.
Is that why we keep on hearing every part of that microphone?
Yes, there's seagulls inside of the microphone.
Yep.
And
that's a feature.
Here. I know you think it's from the marina behind, but I also have the Star Trek set from the original right here. It's pretty nice. And you look like you're in a hard-boiled, like a what's his name? This is what happens when you start drinking.
Yeah. Bill Barlow.
I like how you.
Yeah, I'm definitely right out of a Raymond Chandler novel. That's how
Raymond Chandler, what a guy. Still alive. So what are we talking about? Fourth season?
Yeah. We're hoping we can get a fourth season.
I love the puppet episode.
Wait, are people listening to this nonsense right now besides YouTube?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
yeah.
Who's listening?
People on Twitter, people on YouTube.
Hey, Joel, since I brought you along as our surprise guest because no one wants to listen
couldn't get Donald.
What are some of your memories of making this episode, which our clip episode from the end of season 2, because we had so many clips to use. We had so many memories.
Who's running this Zoom call? Are you the host of what? The community. Well, thanks for asking, Chris. Wait, so we're showing the clip one with the Tristram directed that we went to Universal for?
Yes.
That was 70 scenes, I believe.
Something like
I believe it was like 70 scenes. And the memories are us. I think we did 25 setups at Universal alone. and we had one day there, I believe.
Oh yeah, it was all like it was like a military strike. I remember because it was one of the few times where we actually got to leave campus.
For those of you who don't know this, the budget for community was shrunk every single year. Literally, am I right? I mean, it was shrunk every year. Is that true, Chris?
Probably. I mean, probably just because the actors' deals that people get more and more money as the years.
Yeah, I was making Ted Danson 1980s money. I'll say this in that, so we never got out, and I don't know who convinced who to do it. I'm sure Dan probably paid for it out of pocket, but we got Universal for one day, and we ran all over that place, including we shot on a steam locomotive. We shot on the Jaws set, which I think that scene didn't even make it in. We shot on the War of the Worlds set, the Spielberg remake, obviously. And the old Western town, the haunted house, the Mexican villa.
Yeah.
We were running, and I remember them going like, "No, you guys."
Hey, Mike, do you mind?
I mean, are you feeding the gulls right now? What is happening?
The seagulls.
And how did you plan that you did this during your evening run, or are you escaping by boat?
Both.
Amazing.
Right now.
It's very impressive, sir, that you're this dedicated to your Twitter account. That is, I mean, look at Mr. Paradigms here. Is that your name? No. Anyway, so my memory was that we ran around. It was like, as McKenna knows, the days always kind of blended into each other because we were always working on 3 or 4 episodes at once because we were making movies and we never went quick to get it. We never did that, thank God. And so this day was unique because we were tired, but I remember my kids visiting the set, and I was dressed in a full train engineer's outfit, and they jumped all over the train. I was like, let's go over to the Jaws set. And they were like, Daddy has a fun job. And so the memory of for whatever reason, the one in front of the Mexican villa where there was guns out and Pierce was on his knees about to be shot.
Yeah.
That was particularly funny.
I know we've talked about this before, but the whole irony of this was the reason why you do a clip show is at the end of the season, just to give everyone a break and just shoot a one-day wraparound of people like in an attic or figuring out a yard sale. Like, oh hey, remember this? Dan's idea was, we should do a clip show with all original clips, and everyone's brains exploded. But we. I feel like there's a unicycle behind you now. The guy
throw the guy some coins. He's doing his job. He's performing for you. Throw him a coin. Throw him a $20 bill. Anything.
A parade of clowns just went by. I'm sorry.
Anyway, I don't know. Do you guys have any other? Do you guys have questions about the making of this episode?
What did you burn that you wanted to keep? I mean, the haunted house, I think Dan said something about, but was there any one of these that you really wanted to actually do as an episode later?
The only one I remember is being at the dock, but I think we even used some of it. Because everyone was in life preservers.
Well, we did the life preserver. We thought it would be like, we missed the gimmicky St. Patrick's Day episode where for some reason they went river rafting on St. Patrick's Day, but we also did the Jaws one where that makes it into your final speech where
you're right.
You guys are about to all get on the boat and go kill a shark, I guess.
And there was tours going by the whole time.
Oh yeah, we had to
keep pausing.
That was another thing that day. I will say that thing was so well planned by Tristram and the whole crew that we were so afraid of going to Universal, and it would just be like it would be our Vietnam, and we'd be stuck in a quagmire. That it was so well planned that we were kind of at the end of the day going, "Oh my God, we got everything that we wanted. We got everything you needed." We were really kind of incredulous that we actually pulled it off. But this was the kind of thing that, I mean, even down to, probably one of the favorite sequences in the episode was the Dean montage, where we were going to have to do all these quick changes with Jim Rash. And Dan insisted, it's like, well, no, we can't just be locked off standalones. We have to have the group in the foreground. Yeah. And then so we were doing costume changes for you and Britta.
Yeah.
Do you remember? So it was like, not only were we doing quick changes with Jim and maybe a second unit, probably like a third camera that we were using that day, we were then having to change your outfits and then go, wait, what would Jeff and Britta be wearing? And so there was one that was clearly that you guys were doing cleanup, some sort of like community service,
yes.
doing litter.
We had
and then another one that was supposed to be a precursor to when you guys got really into drones before the trampoline episode. So you all had your remote control cars. Do you remember that?
You have such a good memory. I have to blame. When you say it, yes. Now I couldn't even remember Raymond Chandler's name. But yeah, no, I remember all of it, but it all is my memory is a mush. I don't know why. I can't figure out why. But I had new kids and, head injuries, but and then I remember when we would do those changes, same thing happened on the the timelines one, where I wasn't sure what I was like, I don't know exactly how this is. I don't know where I am exactly, but I'm going to say these words and I hope this is the right jacket. And thank God there was continuity, because we would have.
Yeah, I mean, between like Sabrina Rosen, who was our costume designer, and Tristram and Wanda Robertson, and the whole crew, trying to keep all that stuff straight, get it all done in a week. I mean, it really was like shooting.
And there was only a couple of, barely there would be I don't remember too many. The only time I remember there being a mistake was when we left one of the stunt guys in the scene. Do you remember that? I believe in Conspiracy Theories, he had to blow a charge and he was actually in the shot. And
maybe.
Then I do remember one, Gillian reminded me, but she remembers everything, where we walked into we were in the lunchroom and we walked in and we're just about to do the scene. And I think Gillian looks up and she goes, "Isn't it supposed to be night?" And then everyone went back. No, it was for when Gillian and I were driving and making out in the back seat when Danny's driving. Okay, so that all came back. Yeah, he was like, "Isn't it supposed to be night?" And we all walked out and waited 40 minutes for them to flip the lights. That was the only time, but
we were constantly just throwing so much stuff at the last second to our amazing crew.
But I was always like, I know we were working hard, but you guys were spending the night in the writer's room. And so it was always, I remember you say something like, "I changed my underwear." Like that was a great, like, can you believe what a week? Brand new underwear.
We definitely kept the Paramount store in business, because we would, by the end of the year, we all were just wearing Paramount 90 years of movie making.
Yeah, you look like tourists that were
Godfather.
No, you look like you're on a tour. They're like, "Would you like to write a sitcom for NBC? No problem. Come to this office." All the garb.
Yep.
I can't believe that. I just can't believe.
Do you know what? You know, it's 9 years to the night that episode aired.
Hallelujah. No, I did not know that.
Yeah, this is the 9th anniversary of the airing of that episode.
That's nuts. If you had said 9 years from now, it would be a Tuesday, and there would be a world paralyzing pandemic happening. Then I'd be like, that doesn't seem possible. I just remember a reviewer telling, like, this woman goes, "Hey, I saw the pilot. She was like, "Congrats on the pickup." I was like, "No, I can't believe it." And then she was like, "You just, you better not even plan to get out of your first season, just so you know, the odds are terrible." No, thank you. That was so nice of you to say. But Chris, I'm glad you are dressed like you are running a mafia family somewhere, 1960 Culver City. You look like you're in
I
LA
almost went to
Confidential.
my new home office is I climb up on the roof, and I almost did it from there. It's the only way.
Get writing done.
Um,
Where's the draft, McKenna? Send the draft.
yeah, send it in. And one thing I
with-
didn't say, and I know Joel feels the same way, as glib as we can be. We hope everyone out there is doing well.
Oh boy, here we go.
Have a long speech. Hold on. Have a long
Because Chris, right before we came on, you said, and I quote, "These a-holes are lucky to have us," and I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Why would you say that? That is awful. You should feel privileged and blessed and gracious that you were on the staff. Just like I was happy to be in the cat. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was so close to having you do this with Chevy. I was going to send him the Zoom link.
Oh, yeah. Good luck.
to his Los Angeles email.
That's a story that Gillian has told so well so many times about how when they're like, we'll get you new pages. They'll be emailed tonight. And he was like, my email's in New York. And you went, not really how it works, but I get it. I like how Mike at one point muted himself and then it became very quiet.
I did that.
And then Mike unmuted himself and is continuing. I feel like Mike is the beginning of a around the world sailing trip and he's about to say goodbye. And he's filming himself the whole time. And then like further in the episode, it'll be him 20 miles off the coast.
I'll send you a link.
Yeah, it's good.
It'll be on a torrent.
This is the whitest Zoom call, I think. I'm going right now. It's got to be, right? Or this looks like we're in Norway. That we're discussing the lockdown or the lack of lockdown in Sweden. I'm going to keep going here. I'm just going to keep talking. Sorry. No. Now, Chris, when you wrote the cut scenes, all the scenes, obviously, when you guys were all writing them, how in the world did you come up with that? I mean, obviously, you're writers, you're professionals, you know what you're doing, but it seemed so wonderfully chaotic, and then it all was connected. So how, my friend?
It was so funny. I remember like Dan had the idea, and I'm sorry, you guys probably want to start the rewatch at a certain point so we can stop talking. You guys
We're not interrupting. Go as long as you want.
I remember Dan had to have this idea for a while to do like a fake clip scene. And I remember I just had this image in my head where he's like standing in front of a whiteboard and we were trying to figure out what's the actual story of this thing. And then I think it was probably him. He hit upon the idea of like, oh, this is where it's revealed that Britta and Jeff, because I mean, it was like, oh, it'd be funny if in this it came out. We'd already been kicking around the idea that Britta and Jeff had been sleeping together. But once that became like the story, the reveal, which is another way of sort of subverting the clip show idea. Subvert, I love using that word, subvert. But I mean, not only is this like so difficult to produce, but also those shows are usually like, oh yeah, remember Mallory's science fair project? I'm like, oh yeah, when Alex had to help. I mean, it was like, okay, well, we all know this. The funny thing about this was, oh no, a giant revelation comes out of this, seemingly just walk down memory lane. Oh, we didn't realize this, or Abed had the pieces of it, but he hadn't put it together. That was the big sort of breakthrough where we could then hang it on, oh, it's the Jeff and Britta reveal, where this thing that had happened literally a year beforehand, where they had slept together and had continued this relationship. It becomes this like, oh, these two people who are like lying to the group and they're gross and they're having a toxic relationship and they're only doing it because it's a secret affair. All that just sort of blew it open so that then they could all examine like, okay, well, what are you bringing to the group? Like, you guys are, toxic, but are we all toxic or like to each other? Like the whole crime, which became obviously part of what the whole show was constantly pointing fingers at like who was damaging this family that they had all this ad hoc family that they had created. But that was the big breakthrough. Right. I remember like, oh, okay, then we can hang it all, because we had so many fun ideas, but we didn't really know what the story was. And that was the breakthrough, which was, oh, really about like, that should be the act break, the revelation that the two of them have been having this relationship. And then it became obviously more global about like, what is this show? What is this thing that we're doing? Is it just like this vicious cycle of toxic behavior?
Yeah.
For the characters and for the writers and for the
great. Well, that was the other. That was one of the things that I loved is that, like, for those young kids out there, you probably don't know this, but there was a lot of strange rules to television. Like there would not a rule, but like there's tropes like a clip show where they could just throw together a bunch of old clips and sit on a stoop and talk about them, and they would kind of get out of having to do that episode. And we did the opposite. But there was the thing of like, oh, you can't get married, you can't have a kid, or the show goes down. And Dan and the writers are like, oh no, we're gonna do the opposite. We're gonna do all that. There's gonna be kids, there's gonna be marriage, it's gonna happen. And it's funny that
the episode right after this, correct me if I'm wrong, is the one where Shirley has her baby.
That's right.
Dang, I didn't see. You can keep track of that. My kids know it better than I do now because I can't keep track of it.
Yeah, no.
And whenever now it's not happened as much because they've seen it, but whenever I would kiss anyone who wasn't my wife, they would just, the younger one would just run screaming out of the room. And I was like, yeah, I guess if I saw my dad when I was 9, then I kissing some other lady, I'd be like, whoa! And that, yeah. And then he sees his dad drinking.
But I was also thinking, though, how crazy that this whole episode, in terms of just, as I said, my name's on it, but we gang wrote this thing because we were up against it. It was the end of the season. So we gang wrote this thing. Then we did the Shirley's birth episode with the Chang baby. And then we went right into a 2-part paintball episode. So as crazy as you would think that this would be like the production capper of the year, but then we went into, it was just, we were asking so much from the crew and everyone as we were trying to put together the end of the season. You guys,
to think after those paintball ones where there are dropping gallons of paint on the set, just so for everyone out there, you couldn't just kind of wipe it up and go, we're ready to go next week. The sets would have to be rebuilt, basically. They'd be ruined by all the paint everywhere, especially the 2-parter with the huge payoff at the end of the explosion, and then Abed and Annie doing the Han Solo thing, and that those sets had to be completely. There was something with the paint about how it would rot the wood if it stayed. There was something about it how it had to get off there, so they just rebuilt them. And you forget that because we were taping or shooting so many episodes all the time. And I will say, I just remember thinking, I'll remember this because you're never gonna be able to be on a show like this. And it was so wonderfully nutso that in the best way that I was like, oh well, there's just never gonna be anything normal in the best way that it could possibly be. And that's why I went into a severe depression afterwards.
After season 2.
I'm fine. No, but is there anything, Chris, that you like? Because I know, again, the hours you put in were crazy, but did you love it? Did you spend a lot of it? I loved being there. And so I don't know. I know you, like me, had little kids. So it's brought it.
Well, I will say this episode was a year before I had any kids. This was definitely, it was like showing up on a Monday morning, and then you'd come home on a Wednesday night or a Thursday night or something, and then go back in the morning. This is this kind of hours that we did, and the crew did too, and the actors, were doing, insane hours. It was just.
I'll never forget when Kumal and then Johnny in the paintball episode, the secret paintball episode, where Padgett was trying to find out if we were having a paintball war. And Kumal, there had been numerous different versions of the script, and he came in coveralls, and it was Monday morning, and Dan was there, and Kumal goes, am I the villain? And because there had been different versions of it where he was, then he wasn't, and it made me so happy. And as soon as you got used to it, you kind of like, yeah, just get ready. Just get into the log. We're all going down the waterfall together. It's going to be great. Yeah, I love it so much. And so when I hear people complaining about hours, I'm just like, you should thank God you got a job and it's fun. It's good times.
Yeah, these days it definitely. I miss going somewhere for a couple days.
Yeah, that's
crying,
why.
and crying in my office.
I just go to soccer stadiums alone. I just go to Staples Center, break in, just hang out, pretend I'm at a game.
Museums.
Mike has had a lot to say during this thing.
Well, we don't want to interrupt you guys, so
Anyway,
It would've
we're
been a
I'm
conscious
so
effort to shut
sorry.
up.
We're supposed to start this rewatch.
Yeah.
But we're
I
about
can't
25 minutes past that. So
I
it's
can't
fine.
do the rewatch because I will be cooking dinner here in a second. Not for me. I run a restaurant.
I thought it was just like a button you pushed there on that set.
Thank you. Hold on one second. Let me see if it's working. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Nope. It killed people. It killed some people.
That was just a callback.
Chris,
That was just a callback to our bit when we work Morongo.
Oh, we're going there. Moronga. Here's the thing you don't know about Chris McKenna. When you meet Chris McKenna, you don't realize that he's like 6'8" and he looks like a monster. He's coming to your house to tear it down, no problem. And you can see that he's like the nicest guy. He looks like a fun dad, but he's huge. He's very wonderfully intimidating.
Okay.
See, you like that?
Yeah. You guys take it from here, Mike and Matt. I mean, are you? So
wait, are you tweeting the episode, Chris?
What?
Are you going to tweet the episode?
I think
Chris is staying.
Live tweet it. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get off of this, and then we'll live tweet the episode.
Hey, and it's doing okay on Netflix. How about that?
It's doing really well.
It's the Tiger King of canceled NBC sitcoms.
Wait, are you just?
That's the Tiger King and I, my friend. Tune in.
Tiger thing.
It's the 8th episode that you always wanted to see. Oh, look, now Mike's friends have shown up. Mike's friends are there.
Yeah.
And
I muted for him. Sorry.
They're like, Mike, when are you going to get off that Zoom call? We want to go sailing. Where are the breadcrumbs? We're out of breadcrumbs. We need to feed the seagulls.
there's clearly many more people out and about than I ever expected there to be at this time of day.
What part of Canada did you grow up in? Toronto? Calgary?
No, I'm on the Pacific Northwest. I'm on Vancouver Island.
Oh, there you go. Okay, then.
We've actually spoken before on the phone. I don't know if you remember giving a call, but
I don't speak to Canadians.
Maybe, well, I didn't identify myself as a Canadian, so it's probably why you spoke.
No, it's fine. I heard the accent and I immediately jumped on it. Wait, the rewatch is airing. Where is this
party, Joel? Netflix.
Oh,
party.
You guys could do the Netflix party. Okay. Well, I'd like to do this again. Where
You're invited.
But I would like to do an episode of Perfect Strangers.
Where does that stream?
Where is that streaming?
Yes.
That's on Friendster.
Okay.
They have a streaming service. It's not as popular as Netflix. But while you're on Netflix, tune into the Santa Clarita Diet. Now, so Chris, before we go.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you one more question.
Okay.
Now that we're in the middle of production on the movie, which we're shooting in Romania, I'm just amazed that Donald's available and has agreed to a huge cut in salary, and it's just nice for him to come back.
But isn't it because he's renting that castle in Romania and
I don't want. Look, I get it. I don't want to just look like he's being too lavish, but I don't know. Just to heat the thing each night is thousands of dollars, so I don't want to advertise that.
No, I'm so excited for you guys. That's so great.
So Chris, you're working on the new Phantom movie with Billy Zane, the sequel?
Slamming evil some more. Yeah, we are.
Is that what the Phantom did?
He slammed evil.
Oh, he slammed it. Was he a wrestler? Was he in the WWE?
No, he had
Slamming powers?
he had slamming powers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chris, you know what I miss the most?
What's that?
Chris and I actually see each other socially in the world, and he's one of my favorite people, and to the point where my wife will be like, "You gonna go see your boyfriend? Yeah, you gonna talk to your boyfriend?" I'm like, "Yep, I am. I'm excited." So, Chris,
We're gonna get our antibody test, and we're gonna get back to.
I already got one. I already got one. No, I mean yes, but it wasn't for COVID. It was for something else. I caught a tropical disease. It was, I'm bi-coastal. I live here in Guam, so I caught something. You know what? I've learned a lot tonight. I learned that.
Wait, Joel, are you going to do the Zoom in a half hour, or are you just going to be making all the meals?
Well, that's a good question. I have to. Well, possibly. I'm going to say it's probably not going to happen, but. But believe me, we've already wasted a lot of time. This is imagine the community fans that have decided not to ever watch the thing. How many people are on the party?
I have no idea at this point.
How many people can you tell are even listening to this Zoom call?
We're crunching the numbers, Joel.
Where is this broadcasting?
Oh, YouTube. There's at this moment there's 143. The moment I started speaking, 138.
We're gonna get that third sale. Good job, everybody.
Man, if we crack 150, I know the show's doing well. Oh, it's like when the
I
show,
just flipped it over there, so there's no telling.
So there's 100 you flipped it over to where? And that's
I just flipped it over to YouTube because it's behind a little bit. It's a little distracting.
All right. Well, I'm glad we could entertain between 90 and 140 people. That is like how it used to be with the show. Yeah, we weren't sure who was watching, but God bless them. All right, but I should go, and I'd love to do this again, and I will do a tweet thing where I actually talk about the episode while it's happening. But I know that in 22 minutes the thing will be over, and then I don't think I can. I got a problem because I own an oil refinery and we are upside down. So so I got to go figure out where all these barrels.
You and Norma Desmond.
That's right. Yeah, that's what I did with my community money.
References, right?
I got it. Norman Desmond.
Well, anything else we should do before we turn this car wreck back into the rental agency?
No, not really. Let's see. They're a little bit behind us. What we'll do is we'll start the rewatch at 7:37. We'll start it right on the dime. I've got a clock in front of me.
Where are you?
Are
you in Missouri?
No, Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, all right. I've only been to I have been to Birmingham and Huntsville.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's
I'm
nice.
bragging. I'm bragging now.
No, we'll start it at 7:37 for everybody else, and then we'll start live tweeting then.
Sweet.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you so much. And
thank y'all.
Thank you guys for this part. You can't see it, but thank you for shaving, Mike. And what's your name again?
Matt.
Jeez, what a dick I am. Chris and I are not shaving, as you can see. So, Mike and Matt, I would love to do it again. So please have me.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Great. I'll call
Yes,
Tom.
I was worried about doing too much talking, so thank you. Let's fix it.
But in reality, you are just terrified by how much talking I did. What happens? Can't stop me. Chris, you look great. You look very handsome. It looks like a headshot for a cop show that you're what?
I absolutely am wearing pants. I will. Joel, thanks for doing this, and good luck with the dinner making. And guys, Paradigms of Human Memory.
Paradigms of Human Memory. In 3, 2.
Your tongues on these memory.
Feast on these memory pops. What was it? Oh, Chris just fell off.
Feast your tongues on memory pops.
Thanks, guys.
Guys, thank you. I'll see you.
Thanks, Joel.
Let's do it again. I love you all.